everybody, my name is Will, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be building a car in automation based on the result of 3 wheels. But, just to spice things up a little bit, I've also got 2 of my friends building cars. I'm going to find out what they've built at the end, and then we're going to have a little Taskmaster style competition to see who built the best of whatever we build. I don't know what it's going to be yet. We're going to spin on this here wheel. It's going to give us something. It might be awful. Pickup truck. Okay, sure, why not? The next wheel. Budget. We could be anywhere from a Craigslist ad find to a very, very expensive car. And it's gonna be a slightly fancy boy. An ever so slightly fancy boy. A little bit nice. And finally, which decade is our slightly fancy pickup truck gonna be from? Depending on where this lands, this could be very different. 70s. Okay. 5 guesses if all of us are going to build F-150s. Without any further ado, let's get building this car, shall we? Or this truck, I guess. Okay, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to talk you through my brainwaves until we get to the fixtures section of building this car, at which point we're going to move into a time-lapse, but Hisop Gurami. I just kept hitting that generate new name until we got the hardest thing to possibly say, because it's going to be really funny to force my friends to say this. We're going to create from scratch here. We're going for the utility premium market is what we're going to try and do. And fingers crossed, oh my god. I mean, I'm tempted, so here is my immediate prediction. Everybody is gonna, what is this thing? I mean, I'm tempted by that as well, to be entirely honest. It's the first one. We have to be at least somewhat sensible for the first one. I'm gonna go with this. This is very Subaru Brat-esque, and I'm gonna try and do something a little bit more out there, because I know for a fact that those two are just going to build like a big American pickup truck. Apologies if you hear the cat. This is, I promise you it will turn into a pickup. Right now it is a coupe. Don't worry about that. We're going for a utility. It's got to be steel. We're going to go with a HD ladder. Do they care about corrosion resistance? We're going to go with no for now. They may care, and I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to go front-wheel drive, because I want to, and you don't get any opinion in this. Solid axle coil on the back, a little bit more comfort than a leaf spring. This isn't a pickup truck so much as a ute. We don't have a ute section on the wheel, so pickup truck and ute, and they're not the same thing, right? Before you kill me, they're not the same thing, but on the wheel, there isn't a ute, so I can get away with it. This feels too long. I need a shorter car. I'm going to see if I can find a better body here. This wheelbase is a little bit too big. That's the body. What we'll do, we'll shape this later, and we'll do the fixtures at the same time. I just picked the hardest one to pronounce again. We're going to go with a Menhagen Brotula. What's a Brotula? A Brotula is a type of fish. Okay. And in true Subaru Brat style, flat engine. Cast iron, push rod, probably. Standard valve train. Let's go like 1.6 litre. Yeah. We're going to start with cast everything. See where we are. Carbet, 2-barrel, unleaded, regular fuel, low manifold. Sure. I don't really know much about cars, which might become fairly obvious as this goes along. There's probably some form of emissions regulations in the late 70s, so we'll go for a catalytic converter. Give it some baffling. Why not? That sounds good. I've also changed my mind. Direct overhead cam. I think that'll be better. Where are we at? Right. 57 horsepower. That's not a lot. What we probably want more than power is torque, because it is a utility vehicle, and we also want reliability. So those are the most important things. Okay, I've done some tweaking, as you can see. Don't worry about the units I'm using. Don't think about it too much, and it won't hurt your head. Long story short, we have reasonable torque, 85.8 pound-feet for a tiny little 1.6 naturally aspirated engine, 53 horsepower. That's not so good. It's not about top speed. I'm happy with that. It's reliable, I believe. I think that's a good reliability score. I don't know. Also, the efficiency is fine, so hopefully we're good. We may need to make it a little bit fancier. Maybe we give it a supercharger or something if the premium market wants it. But we're gonna go with this for now. Okay, we're gonna go with radials in the 70s, probably. I think all-terrain tires. HD steel on the rims, because that's nice, good for utility. Disc at the front, drum at the back. Probably good enough for this car. It's not too heavy. Do we need off-road? Not really. It's utility, not off-road. We give it an off-road skid tray. Why not? We're gonna go crazy. Bit of brake airflow as well. Nice interior. Give them an 8-track, but not too nice of one. We optimize that to be a bit heavier, a bit nicer. Power steering, hydraulic ball, just because it's premium. And make it safe. They like it safe. Standard springs, they'll be very reliable. That's the main thing. Gas monitoring, why not? Eesh, they do not like it. Low comfort. Okay, fair enough. Now, off-road utility and utility budget, love it. That's... oh dear. Utility budget, love it, but not utility premium. That's unfortunate. They want more beans. They don't like that it's slow. Okay, we're going to put that supercharger on here because otherwise they're going to get angry at me. And I know for a fact they're going to love an automatic gearbox in this thing. They always love automatic gearboxes. I don't want to give it an automatic, but we'll give the people what they want. Look at me. I am basically a saint. I just realized there's a tire called utility. That'd probably do quite well for a utility car. Okay, I'm getting the consequences of me not putting 4x4 on this are now hitting me, so we're doing a 4x4 now. There we go. Now they quite like me. Okay. Perhaps I should have done that sooner. Maybe. We'll treat them to a little bit of corrosion-resistant steel. That is looking pretty desirable now. I'm happy with that. Helical all-wheel drive, 75 horsepower, 93 pound-feet of torque. Advanced automatic, manual locking, radial utility tires, pretty skinny, alloy wheels. Actually, hang on, let me see. Demographic match, 59.3, HD steel, 59.1. They prefer alloys. Burn me at the stake if you will. Solid disc, drums at the back, semi-clad, lots of cooling airflow, 2 seats, premium, with a premium cassette, a little bit heavy. Make it more heavy. Why not? Go crazy. Look at that, 59.6. They love that. Can I just go all the way? 59.9. They want it heavier. 60.1. I mean, all the way to the bottom, I guess. Got some manual rack and pinions, no traction aids, advanced safety, progressive, twin tube, some kind of form of suspension. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess we'll drive it around a test track. Why not? Down the back straight. We hit 70. That's motorway legal. And yep. Okay. I mean, it's not going to write any speed records. Let's just put it that way. And across the line for a crisp 3 minutes and 9 seconds. That is bad. Okay, with that said, it's fixture time. We're going to make this thing look less like a box and hopefully more like a car that's good. Hello everybody, welcome to the speedy up, time-lapsey, speedy bit. This, if you've never seen one of my videos before, is where I now continue to talk about building the car, in this case, for an extremely long time. So, you know, you can skip ahead if you want, but I've tried to keep this one short because we still have the challenges left to do, and obviously I've done quite a lot more yabbering than I normally do before this point in the videos, but anyway, this has been the first automation video that most people will have seen. I can't say that the last time I uploaded automation, anyone really watched it. I think I did like a little Soviet car challenge thing with like the Reddit community ages ago. I think that's the last one. Or like I built a Soviet car or something. I built a few of those. Anyway, I have played automation for quite a long time. It's just never been something that I've uploaded to the channel before. I wasn't very good at it, and over the years I'd like to say that I have got slightly better at it. I still don't know anything about cars, don't get me wrong, that probably will never change, but just in terms of styling and aesthetics, I like to think that I have got slightly better at that kind of stuff. probably from, building quite a few planes and tanks and Sprocket and Flyout, which are not, the same as cars, but I guess it gives you an idea of proportions and stuff. I don't know, maybe I'm talking completely out of my ass, but why not? So, we are going for, as I mentioned before, something a little bit, or well, quite a bit, like the Subaru Brat, really. So, it's a fairly small ute. It's got a pretty weedy engine, but it is styled pretty mean-like. We are going for 79 with this design, so it is a little bit more modern than you might immediately think when you hear 70s, which, might play against me when it comes to the challenges later, and I definitely don't know the result of those already, because this definitely isn't post-recording, I swear. But anyway, we're not gonna worry about that too much. I have been using a lot more 3D fixture stuff than I ever have before in automation, which is very useful whenever it gets to the point where the car body is just not quite what you want. And there's also, sometimes it just feels like you never have the headlight fixture you want, so it is really nice that you can go on the workshop, you can either find exactly what you want, or if that thing doesn't exist, there's enough modular headlight packs out there to just make it yourself. And that's kind of what I did here, but I didn't actually use any of the modular headlight cutouts. I probably could have for this main grille, but I didn't. I made it out of like a flat cutout and then a bunch of 3D parts to make up the shape. There's also a couple of things which see if you notice, because I guarantee you somebody else already will have and will have commented it. So see if you notice a couple mistakes I make along the way and just don't clock. One of them just happened, so if you didn't notice that, you're now going to go back, you're going to notice it, and you're never going to be able to unsee it. And that's part of what we like to do here. And if you like seeing things that are slight mistakes and being reminded of them every single time you watch a video, you should subscribe. That's a good reason to subscribe, I think. I am still a little bit dying, by the way. If I don't sound 110%, my throat is still not exactly recovered from death, which occurred to me previously, which is unfortunate. Many people mourned my passing in my previous video, so I appreciate all of the people attending my funeral. I wasn't really expecting anyone based on the normal comment reception I get. I don't know why I'm insulting my comment section. I really shouldn't be. However, you should be leaving a comment. There. I don't know. I might. Let me know. Okay. I normally, at this point in time-ish, would bring up, if it's a sprocket tank or a flyout plane, I'd say, you can go download the craft files for this vehicle in the Discord in the description below. Do you want the automation.car files? I think I can provide you with the .car files, and then you can export the beamNG yourself if you want, or have beamNG. Is that a good way to do this? Let me know. And say if you want them, and I can set up a little repository where we can share all of the car files that everybody created, because I'm sure the other two who are taking part in this challenge will be up for sharing whatever they've created, which I've already seen them, which is slightly giving it away, but my prediction at the start may not have been entirely correct, is all I'm gonna say here. Anyway. Here's coming another one of my mistakes, which I will have fixed for the car in the thumbnail. So you gotta have eagle eyes to spot this mistake here. Look, I can do even more engagement bait. Comment if you spot the mistake that I make and forget to fix. This is also about the point while I was designing this car that I was sat in a call with the other two people who are designing cars for this challenge thing at the moment in time. And they were like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to do this. And I was like, okay, I really don't want to have this spill over to 2 days. So it was approximately at this point in time where I started rushing, which is probably why a couple of the bigger issues snuck through, and why the rear end of this car is maybe just a little bit lower effort than the front end. But luckily, it is a pickup truck, and pickup trucks, utes, tend to have pretty simple rear ends, because ultimately that's where the work part of the vehicle goes on, and you don't really want, let's say you're putting some logs in the back of your truck, you don't want anything particularly expensive back there, because expensive things tend to be a little bit fragile. So, it makes sense, and also is a good excuse for you to not get angry at me for putting a little bit less effort into the back end of my car. I'm sorry. I ran out of time, and this was quite a while that this took to design this far. I would like to say it's been worth it, so hopefully you agree. Let me know if you think that this is a good Subaru Brat, or just something else entirely. Maybe there is another car out there that I'm not aware of that this looks significantly more like, but hopefully I've met the brief. Also, I apologize about the beige color that this is currently painted in. I agree, it's not a particularly flattering color. It's just one of the colors I had at hand, and I wanted to paint all of the segments of the car to make sure that I was doing everything correctly, and when it exported, it wouldn't export with weird colors everywhere if I changed the color in beamNG, because I didn't really want it in red. I do apply a nice coat of white paint shortly, which is quite a lot more pleasant to look at than this beige. Beige works for like a Soviet Lada or something, but not so much for a Ute, is what I'm learning. And I'm just going to throw this really, really quick interior in here. It is definitely not detailed. Do not spend a long time looking at the inside of this car. There is literally a dashboard, a 3D piece, and some chairs, and a steering wheel. That's it. I didn't go all out on the interior. Once again, all out of time pretty much, but this is basically the finished product. We apply a lick of paint, and then we are ready to go. So we'll go into beamNG after this and find out what everybody else has done. But, before that, we should probably give it a quick test to make sure that it actually functions. Okay, here we go. So, finished product here in the photo mode, because it looks very, very fancy here in the photo mode. I wasn't 100% sure if I liked it. Can I hide the UI? There we go, F10. I wasn't 100% sure if I liked it when we were in the editor, but here in the actual photo mode, I think where it hides and gives a little bit more lighting, it does a pretty good job. The front I'm most happy with. You can kind of tell on the rear that people started talking about running out of time. So I slightly rushed the back in order to get it done, and the interior is very, very, very low effort, just so that from the outside, it looks like it has one. I'll probably just decrease the shade on the windows a little bit. We're going to export this beamNG, see what everyone else has built, and hopefully, we do well. Okay, we're here in beamNG. I should just quickly, before we meet up with the others, explain that the way that this works is that we are going to be compared against a real car that is roughly from the category that we have rolled. So the closest to that real-life equivalent will be the winner, not necessarily the best in any given category. Just before we, go into the tasks, and any of you are confused by the fact that the person who comes out on top might not necessarily seem to win. Look, it's the fairest way that we could think of doing it. If you can think of a better way, leave it in the comments, I guess. It could be useful. Here we are in beamNG, and we've got the whole gang here. We have, obviously, myself with the car that you just watched me build for like 20 minutes. We have Hydra Hero. Say hello.
Hello.
That's their voice. They've built some kind of dripped-out Land Rover thing, I guess. And over here, we have Jetrise.
Hey.
That's also their voice. And that is something a little bit more what I would expect from this challenge. So I was slightly wrong when I thought everybody else would build an F-150. Not entirely. Anyway, as I mentioned before, we're going to be compared against a real vehicle. We don't know what that is going to be just yet, so can you show us the vehicle? Our taskmaster for today.
Hello!
Oh, God.
1970 spec mid-range El Camino I felt was reasonably priced, and
Yep. Fair enough. So, to kick things off, we had about the worst task that I possibly could for my vehicle. That is a 0 to 60 to 0, and this was on time and not distance. You'll see how it goes. Okay, suddenly, all of my confidence has disappeared.
As much room as you need.
I was told as much room as I need. I'm putting my wheels all the way back to the dirt, because boy do I need it. Right, I'm ready to go.
On your marks, get set, go!
Come on! A little bit more than that, please. Come on. Right, that's not a lot. That's 40. Please, I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to do this. We don't have pure speed on our side. Oh, there's rocks. I don't know if I can hit 60 on this road. Look, I got this.
Gotta be a disqualification.
I got this.
Maybe you'll do 60.
Count me down. Count me down.
On your marks, get set, go!
Come on. Here we go. We could do it. Yeah. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I unlock the diffs now, that might help. It's not helping. I can't hit 60 miles an hour. Not on this terrain. I can't.
Okay. DNF.
Next up, it was Josh in the slightly weird Land Rover's turn, and as you can tell, he absolutely thrashed me. Oh, God.
Bear with me while I note that time down.
Who's out here drag racing their damn utility vehicles, bro?
James, are you ready?
Yes. Sure, I am ready.
On your marks, get set, go!
Fuck, stalled on the restart. Restart was not...
That is some suspension right there.
It is. Was that a leaf spring?
Close enough.
And then James went on to also thrash my time.
And we're stopped.
And then we compared some basic statistics.
William,
Hi.
what is your price?
It is $19,200.
James, the same for you?
42,600.
And Josh?
17,200. I built the most economical one.
How many horsepower did you say you had for 17 grand?
Hang on. Well, we're about to get there. Will, what's your horsepower?
74.3.
James, the same for you?
87.8.
I've got 110.
And finally, your torque.
92.5.
James?
106.5.
And Josh?
139.
Someone in the comments already knows what that El Camino has exactly and how much it costs, so
Yeah.
it's already called
Yeah.
it.
And I bet I have it wrong.
And then for our next task, we moved on up to the highway at the top of the map.
Oh, are you making us put something in our beds? Oh, no.
Josh's fears were well placed. We would be putting a giant tyre in the back of our utility vehicles and seeing who could drive the fastest before the tunnel at the end of the highway. Josh!
Oh.
Don't hit my damn car with it. Yeah, I'm pretty confident this is the best I'm ever going to get it, so I'm not even going to do a test run here. Oh, I've damaged my bumper. Right, I'm ready. There we go. Okay, right. I am confident that this is well loaded and I can just absolutely pin it here. Absolutely pinning it might not result in too much. I mean, we got the torque. We got a fair bit of torque, so we're getting up to speed. We're up to 50. We may be here a while. Downhill, that's good for me. That's good for me. I'm going 60. That's good speeds. You don't need to go any quicker than that. 62 was the top speed there, I think. I don't imagine I'm going to exceed 62. I'm losing speed again. 59. Yeah, no. 62 was my best. Though, look how well loaded that is. That's not going anywhere. The suspension on that. Oh my god, look at that.
Yes, there may have been some oversights in the suspension department.
It's got quite the lean to it.
The suspension may have looked silly, but he got off to a better start, and for that matter, he got off to a better run in general. By the end of the run, he'd managed to achieve a top maximum speed of 64 miles an hour. 2 miles an hour quicker than I did, which, to be entirely honest, given how the 0 to 60 to 0 went, I'm surprised it was that close. About 5 minutes later, Josh said that he had loaded up his truck.
Right. That's just gonna have to do.
Oh my god.
Good Lord, James, do not crash into him right now.
The poor man
no,
has
no.
struggled quite a lot.
Good luck to me, I guess. Let's go.
Oh, hey! It was all...
Oh.
For some reason, we showed mercy for that, and we let him have another go. So after another 10 minutes of trying to load the tyre onto that thing, we were ready to go again. Back on the roof.
Doing the roof
You've now got to do a 3-point turn
Wait.
before you can do your route.
Right, I'm starting here because I can't reverse.
Okay. I have to watch the speed on this one like a hawk. It could end at any second.
With blistering pace. And it may not necessarily have been what we had in mind when we said put a tyre in your truck, but he did get up to a pretty good speed of 71 miles an hour. Next up, we moved across the map and we put a fridge in the back of our utility vehicles, and we had to roughly abide by the road laws and see how little damage and how few times we'd break the law in delivering the fridge to our mate Jim, who was living in 3 bins.
Are you ready?
I am ready. I've never been more ready.
On your marks. Sorry, Josh. Josh, what are you doing?
We'll return to that.
I just see fridge bits flying everywhere.
It's just in the background of the audio. It's fine.
Okay, sorry. On your marks. Get set. Go!
Oh god, lag spike from someone spawning in a fridge. Here we go. Okay, what was that? Was that already a drawer fell out of the damn fridge? Oh, for goodness sake. That just clipped through the bottom of my bed. Now I've got a fridge door clipping through the bottom of my bed. Oh, my low pace should aid me here in not getting a huge amount of penalties, even though I've already got one for the laws of physics not obeying.
might help.
Oh god. Right, this is where things get a little bit titchy. There we go. We're all good. Nice little U-turn on the bridge. Only a little bit of squealing of tyres. I mean, the police definitely wouldn't question anything about what's going on right now. Have I lost? Yeah, I lost the fridge tray that was clipped under me at some point. Uphill may prove a challenge. Okay, now we're getting onto slightly less trodden roads. Well, quite well trodden roads, in fact, is the problem. There are no lane markings here, though, which does make my job slightly... Oh god, potholes. Ew, those are some nasty potholes. I feel like Josh's Land Rover might struggle with the potholes. Let's not slide off the other edge and fall off a cliff. That would definitely result in some fridge damage. Not least to say, probably traumatic head injuries, but... Come on. Come on. We haven't got long now. Just a couple more corners. Is this his house?
Yes.
It's 3 pianos in a parking lot. Oh, no, and 2 tables. Sorry, there we go. Boom! Next up was James in his concerningly wobbly Hilux thing. There we go. It's old suspension. Oh, look, there's bits for my fridge. As seems to be a developing theme, he was definitely quicker going down the straight lines, but thanks to the very, very high ride height and soft suspension, he had to be a little bit cautious on the turns to make sure that he didn't overturn with all of that weight up high in the top of the bed there. However, as soon as he got down to this section here, he was storming ahead of my time. I was relying on this last mountain section with the potholes in order for him to struggle a bit more. The fridge was getting a little bit precariously mounted, but somehow, in spite of all the odds with all the rocking and bumping that the truck did, it managed to stay in there. And as he got to the top of the hill, he came around the last couple of corners to bring that fridge home with a time 0.4 seconds slower than I did. Thanks to his tiny bed, Josh had once again struggled to get the fridge in the back of his pickup truck, and, well, this was his attempt.
On your marks. Get set. Go!
Honestly, fair.
If I accelerate too harshly, it will just out.
Like that.
Oh my god.
Fuck it.
Okay.
We'd agreed that losing parts of the fridge was only a time penalty, so with this minor setback, he decided to absolutely floor it the rest of the way. He is about to absolutely, well, unless he bins it, he's about to absolutely thrash me and James's time.
I have a feeling.
And binned it.
Has not quite died.
We're fine. Steering's fine.
Somehow still losing bits of fridge on my screen.
Yeah, he also has another lot of penalties for the road markings.
I forgot about that. Steering is no longer fine.
One take! One take! Oh!
That's not good.
What does that count as on penalties?
And back to the studio.
So, we all agreed, and I'm sure you will as well, that that counted as a DNF and moved on to our final task.
So, the last test is I got someone to score the looks of your vehicles. I didn't feel qualified to do this, so I asked objectively the expert on pickup trucks, an American. Firstly, he gave Will an 8 out of 10.
Oh.
This design is super interesting, but seems a bit too modern for the 70s. The headlights and grille, mostly too modern in my opinion, but looks amazing. 10 out of 10 for design, but 8 out of 10 for the prompt and final rating. James, he said, this is exactly the kind of pickup I was expecting. The proportions may be a little too tall. It fits perfectly for the time period. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, no.
And finally, Josh, a bit unique.
Oh, God.
Reminds me of like an old G-Wagon or Jeep. Certainly fancy. The wheels are a bit thin, which might hinder off-roading and the likes, but it looks lovely. Not sure how well it fits the American vibes, but more like something for an African safari, especially with the tire on the hood. 9 out of 10 design, but I think it's a 7.5 for the design prompt in question. So that goes to James.
So for price, for everyone at home watching, the Control El Camino was $23,000. I was closest at $19,200. Then on power, Control was $350. The highest anyone here had was $110, which was the Land Rover. So that one there. And on torque again, the El Camino had significantly more. Which meant that the Land Rover wins by default on that again. No surprise here, I didn't win the 0 to 60 to 0. And El Camino absolutely thrashed everyone, which means that the fastest time, which was the Land Rover, wins. And on the top-loaded speed, the Land Rover also won, in spite of the fact that the tyre barely stayed on the roof, because the El Camino had a time faster than all of us. On the fridge delivery, the El Camino had the fastest time, and the person with the fastest time, loaded with cargo, was me. With the weakest engine. With the weakest engine, I had the fastest time with cargo. I'm taking that as a dub. Sure. And then the American rated, as everyone saw, James the highest. So, all in all, I think we can agree that Josh wins on a technicality. Well, there you go, everyone. That was we built pickup trucks. Let us know in the comments who you think should have won, because chances are you probably don't agree with our score sheets, but it's not that serious, so don't worry about it. Anyway, I've lost my own pickup truck. I've gone out of the camera. We'll just look back away from that. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this one, please have a like, comment, and or subscribe. And if you... there's nothing else for me to say. Normally I mention about the Discord in the description, which now I have. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. And as always, a huge thank you to YouTube super supporters Dougie Ott, Stug3, Edwin, Cody Fox, Yoki, Marlon Gwecken, Peter Holmes, Peter Seifert, CamJam135, Terra, and of course, a huge thank you to all of the regular tier supporters as well.